Okay guys, in this video I have an Amazon FBA lockdown update for you. Now it is the 3rd of April 2020 and I'd imagine there may be a few more of these updates as I don't see us leaving lockdown anytime soon. So the first thing I want to give you is some good news, and some of the good news that's happened in the FBA world in the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately there is a very small amount of it, so that won't take very long at all. We're then going to look at the bad news, which unfortunately is much longer, and then I'm going to show you how my sales have gone from around £20,000 per month to pretty much zero, and also explain why I'm blaming Jeff for this and put some background to that thumbnail that I've got on the video at the moment. Finally, I have a very important piece of advice for any existing or new Amazon FBA sellers, so make sure you stick around to the end for that. So let's kick things off with the good news. Now, the first piece of good news is Amazon have announced that they are waiving some of the storage fees. Now, this is good news, however, it's not as good as you may think, and I'm going to explain why in the bad news slide in a moment. The second piece of good news is Amazon have lifted some of the restrictions on shipping products to Amazon. Now, from my video a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that Amazon had restricted a lot of shipments, so it wasn't possible for many people to send new stock to Amazon. They have now lifted some of these restrictions and also implemented some new reporting tools as detailed in the announcement there that you can use to see whether your product's eligible. So that is pretty much for it for the good news. There are some waivers on the storage fees, and it is now possible to send more products than previously to the Amazon FBA fulfillment centers. Now, moving on to the bad news, unfortunately this is a much longer section. So the first piece of bad news. Now, in the video 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that Prime delivery on some of my products and many other products on Amazon had been delayed by a few days. So rather than being next day, there were maybe 3 or 4, 5 or even 6 days in length between ordering and a product being delivered. Now, that was already starting to have a small impact on sales. However, since that video, things have got a lot worse, and Amazon have decided to extend delivery on a lot of products to over a month, which has absolutely killed sales. And I will come back to that on the later slide when I'm talking about how my sales have dropped. Now, the biggest issue I have with this, now I understand what is going on in the world at the moment, it's causing problems, having knock-on effects everywhere. And I completely understand if my sales are down and if everyone else's sales are down as well. However, the issue I have at the moment is that the changes that Amazon have made, they are not applying fairly or consistently. So I'm going to show you 2 examples of how this works. So in some categories, all products are impacted, which I'm going to show you in a second. However, the issue is in many other categories, only some products have long Prime delivery dates. So the first example category I want to show you, and this is for desk mic stands. Now, I wanted to get another mic stand this week because I used 2 different setups in the studio. However, all of them have delivery dates of May the 8th at the moment. So if you scroll down here, you'll see all of these Friday, 8th of May for pretty much all of them. I think every single mic stand in this category has a delivery date of Friday the 8th of May. Now for me, I think that's fine because Amazon have applied it fairly to all sellers in this category. No one is getting an advantage from this change. Obviously everyone is losing out, but it's understandable in the current situation. The issue I have, and the problem I have with Jeff, is that if you go to another category, for example chopping boards, which is one of the classic examples I tend to use, you will see here you have products that are available for Friday the 8th of May. However, you've also got products available for Wednesday, April the 8th. So these products here can be delivered within a few days versus a month. What are you going to order if you want these products? And this is the biggest problem for me with what has been done and the changes that Amazon have implemented. If you've got products which are available in a couple of days versus ones that are available in a month, those ones that are available in 1 month delivery times, no one is going to buy them. And I've seen this unfortunately with all of my products. They've all been given a 1 month delivery window and my sales have basically stopped. Now this is massively unfair on many sellers because not only are we losing sales, but we are also losing organic ranks. You know, you imagine the situation, you've got half the products in the category that people are buying and the other half that aren't. So ranks that I've built over weeks and months and even years for some of my products, all of a sudden my products are now not selling. So over 1 to 2 weeks, as products are selling and mine stop selling, the organic ranks completely change. My products start getting dropped down the rankings, and the products that are selling purely because they have a good Prime delivery date are being pushed up the organic rank. And Amazon needs to sort this out because it is really unfair on a huge number of sellers. The other issue as well is as we can't sell our stock, we are paying more in storage fees than other sellers because we've got stock we cannot sell because of Amazon's longer delivery windows. And like I say, just to reiterate the point, I do not have an issue with Amazon imposing 4-week delays on delivery. I completely understand there are massive demand on Amazon at the moment. However, if you're going to implement these policies, you need to implement them fairly and not so you're penalising half your sellers. Now, on the subject of storage fees, the Amazon storage fee waivers are a complete joke. Yes, they help a little bit, but they are a big joke. So the first thing they announced was a long-term storage fee waiver for 1 month. Now, for a product to be applicable for a long-term storage fee, it has to be in the Amazon fulfillment center for 1 year. So that is a very small percentage of products that are actually going to get a waiver this month. Now, after quite a few threads on the Amazon forums of people like myself moaning about the fact that long-term storage fees are completely irrelevant when we're still being charged monthly storage fees for products we can't even sell, Amazon finally sent out an email saying we're going to waiver monthly storage fees for 2 weeks. Now, for me, again, that is a complete joke because we haven't been able to sell for 2 weeks already. You know, my sales have been dead for 2 weeks, and at the moment they're going to be dead for at least the next 4 weeks. So then waiving storage fees for 2 weeks on a monthly storage fee when we're going to have at least a combined total of 6 weeks of shocking sales isn't really very fair, especially when I've got competitors who are selling really well. You know, they've got really good sales, got really good organic ranks, and their storage fees are staying low because they're selling through their inventory. Unlike me, for example, with one of my products, I've got 900 units sat in a warehouse that I can't sell that Amazon are charging me storage fees on. So you can understand why I'm very frustrated with Jeff and the decisions they've taken, and not with what actually caused this in the first place. You know, I'm less mad at the Chinaman that decided to eat a bat than I am at Jeff Bezos at the moment, and not so much Jeff himself, but the top level team. You know, I don't blame seller support, I don't blame other sellers. It's the people, the top level Amazon support team that are taking these decisions without thinking through the impacts it has on the various sellers on their platform. So with the current situation being less than ideal, I decided to sit down and have a think about what I could actually do to try and mitigate what is happening. Now, the one thing I did notice, and as I demonstrated with the mic stand niche, is that in certain categories, all of the products have good prime delivery dates available. So I decided to try and move my product into one of those categories. So I opened a ticket with seller support, and that took around 3 days for them to come back and move my product over. However, despite them agreeing to the change, even now the delivery dates are still over a month, and even though I've been in that new category for over a week, I still have long prime delivery dates, whereas everyone else in that category has very good delivery dates. So unfortunately, swapping category isn't a solution as much as I hoped it would be. So the next thing that I thought about was actually getting my stock removed from Amazon. I thought, why pay huge storage fees if I can get them sent back to me and then send them back into Amazon when things settle back down? However, there has been an announcement from Amazon that any removal orders are being delayed at the moment. And from what I've seen on the forums, this is quite a big delay. So even if I created the removal order today, it could take weeks, if not months, for those products to be sent back to me. So the situation is at the moment is we have products stuck at an Amazon warehouse. We can't create removal orders that are going to be sent back anytime soon, and we're still liable for the monthly storage fees despite the 2-week waiver, because these are going to be stuck in storage for months, not 2 weeks. So it's a pretty sucky situation at the moment. I'm sure you guys completely understand my frustration with it. However, it is what it is, and it's Amazon. You know, it's not surprising. So that's what's going on at the moment. Hopefully you guys found that useful. Now, how has this impacted my sales? You know, I've already given you the headline figure that my sales have dropped from £20,000 to pretty much zero. Before I show you the graph, to try and make me feel a little better, if you could scroll down, make sure you hit that like button, and if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. We should just be hitting 5,000 subscribers as this video goes live. So thank you to everyone that has been part of this channel over the past 2 years. So this is my graph. This is how sales have gone. I changed this graph to a weekly filter. So this is starting from January. And you can see in January, most weeks I was doing between £4,000 and £5,000 in sales. So in January, it's about £20,000 in total I made in sales. And then it dropped off a bit in February, a little bit. But as you can see here, when what was going on in the world started to really kick in, things kind of halved, which is where I think I was 2 weeks ago when I made that video. But since they've extended the Amazon Prime delivery dates, they have pretty much ground to a halt. And I've had 2 or 3 days in the last week where I've generated absolutely zero sales. So there we are. That is the Amazon FBA lockdown update. Now, the final piece of advice I have for any new sellers that are considering Amazon FBA is to make sure you diversify your income. Do not go all eggs in one basket with Amazon FBA. Now, thankfully, with other income streams I've developed over the past couple of years, even with Amazon FBA as it is at the moment, I'm still able to live and thankfully have income coming in from elsewhere. So that is my one piece of advice for any new seller is make sure you diversify your income. Do not be in a position where you're 100% reliant on Amazon for your income, because whether it's this or whether it's one of the many other things that can happen with Amazon FBA, you do not want to be fully under their control. Also, this is advice for everyone, not just new sellers. Make sure you subscribe to my new YouTube channel, Honest Money. You know, if Amazon FBA seems like too much of a risk at the moment, I've just released a video detailing 10 other business opportunities you can start in 2020. So head over there and make sure you subscribe to get alerts when future videos are released.